Hey, this is a review for Funschooling with a 4, 5, 6-year-old about. This is the setup I have for her, but you know, don't get too caught up on how it all looks necessarily, but because you can do anything. I just have this actually because she just really liked it, so I was just getting into things that she would just really enjoy to play with, and then I could pull out, talk about the sounds of the letters. 4, 5, and 6, you just really want to focus on, it's a lollipop stick, whatever. Focus on the sounds of the letters and counting and just some, you know, basic understanding, and then reading aloud a lot. So I have some books for reading aloud here, and she cannot read yet. She can copy words pretty well, which is kind of unusual. She got this from the library because she said she wanted a book with no pictures so that she could read it in her brain. So she loves books even though she can't read yet. But so this is what I'm doing. This one we actually started last year, so right when she first turned 5. And the way you can use these sort of gives the parent just kind of a basic outline, and it doesn't turn as tedious. So book time, so what I did with this, I wrote the name of the books that she chose, that I read out loud to her, and I let her color what she wanted on it while she listened. And then the thinking time, this is, you can actually see because we didn't use a normal pen, she wanted to use a blue pen. But you can talk about what's missing, what does it have here that it doesn't have here, and then you talk about it. It's not a test, especially at this age, but older kids as well. It's not a test, it's for starting to be observant and looking at detail and, you know, making things similar. Shapes, so you're looking at the shapes, so it's more logic and it's engaging the right side of the brain, where usually writing and reading engages the left side of the brain. And when you use art in this way to learn symbols, then it engages the right side of the brain, which is great for kids who are dyslexic or just right brain dominant learning styles, kids who maybe have attention difficulties. This can really engage their brain very well. Reading time, again, she chose some books and I let her scribble or color. If she asked me to do something like that one, it's like a little trumpet, she wanted me to draw that, so I did that for her. Oh, that must be Piggy. It's Piggy and Gerald, or Elephant and Piggy. Nature study, a very small, and again we did this together. It's a tiny little flower. So we did this together and we would color together, or I would read while she colored. The books, coloring time, and sometimes I would write a word. She would ask me to write something and I'd write a word for her, or I'd ask her what are their names, and then you could write their names down, or you could ask what do you think they're thinking, or depending on the picture, what story are you thinking of, and then you can write their story for them and jot down what they're writing right in their book. Movie time, you can't quite see this very well, but you can watch movie together, and at this age this could be Octonauts, it could be Wild Kratts, it could be anything like that. Math time, we were just doing shapes, connecting with the dots with a ruler, and she was doing that, and then she wrote some letters and we would talk about that. You can do graphing with these. You could play a game and then graph how many points each person gets in different colors. We've done that in different books. This one for writing time, she actually later in the book she did some copying all by herself, but this one I wrote the words in pencil, and then I asked her to change the color. So then she copied over what I wrote in the color that she chose. So that can be a great way of engaging them in writing. And let me flip through quicker. The coloring pages are varied, but the basic idea of the different pages is the same with the reading and the coloring time and the logic time, the thinking time. And can be fun. The emotions page and the journals usually have something like this, and you can talk about what you're feeling today or why, which can be really great for, well, anyone, even adults. But it's good to have a language for how you're feeling about things. Let me flip through real quick. A lot of the coloring ones she would do while I was reading, so I might have, let me skip ahead to where there's no, let's see. Here's one that she copied entirely by herself, without me even there actually, and she put a line in between the words for the space. So, you know, that's something to work on, but that was something she did all by herself. This is one she drew the picture and then told me the poem she'd made up, and I typed it and taped it in, so that's another idea. Sometimes we color together, and you can kind of tell it's getting better as we go. This one she watched Winnie the Pooh and learned how to write the word honey. And so if I was planning on doing maybe 2-3 pages, depending on how it goes, right? I might look at it and decide she'd have more energy to do this one first. So I might, for instance, you know, have her pick out some stories to read, because reading out loud is so important. And then I would have her, I'd read it to her, and I might ask, what words do you want to write, or what do you want to copy? And then I could either write it, and I could ask her, do you want me to write it first and then you change the color, or do you want to copy it yourself? And we'll just see how much energy she has to do that. And I wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't fill out this entire thing. You would just kind of gauge the energy level that they have, because you really don't need to spend, especially at 4, 5, and 6, 7 minutes of focused attention for writing. I mean, that's great at that age. So if they focus on writing something even for 5 minutes, however far they get, that is great for that day. And then this one, letter time, you could have them find the, you know, pick a letter, pick D, and have them circle all the D's and then write D's. Or, you know, you could find all the letters that are in the child's name and have them find them, and then they can write them here. Or, I mean, some kids want to copy every single one, and this is great because some kids have a confusion about their font, and it's hard for them to know that that's an A, that that's an A, that that's an A, that that's an A, that's an A, and they don't see, they think it's a totally different letter, and it can be very confusing. So this is a really good way to introduce that the different fonts, it's still the same letter even if it's a different font. So I mean, that's really great to have at an early age. Like I said, you could do graphing with this. You could play pretty much any kind of kid game and graph the numbers. You could do Candyland. You could graph the colors that people get. Every time somebody gets a purple, you draw a little purple square and see which color wins, right? And instead of it being the person, it could be about which color was drawn the most. That could be really fun. I haven't done that yet. I just came up with that. So we don't have too much left. Coloring time, thinking time, and these are what the pages look like without. So this, I mean, this one book, you can this is reading, writing, and math, and I mean, that's all you need really right there. When we're done with this one, which we're almost done with that one, I got this book to actually do more focused phonetic practice, writing practice, and reading practice. I have another reading program that I'm going to start because she really wants to learn how to read. So this is a really good one if you want a little more traditional approach to preschool age. And especially if they're really interested in wanting to learn how to write. And the writing, the basic thing, I mean, they're not going to be able to write perfectly, obviously, at this age, but as long as they're writing from top down, that's a good thing to emphasize. You don't need to emphasize every little thing. Another way to do it, the reading program we're going to be doing talks about this, where when you're copying, you could write on another piece of paper, for instance, and you could ask the child, which one of my D's looks the best, and then have them circle the one that they think looks the best that you as the parent wrote. And then they could do these, and then you could ask them, which one do you like the best that you wrote, and then have them circle the best one. So it's not negative, like, oh, you need to do it straight, oh, you need to have this one right. It's not like that. It's them looking for like being their own editor. So they're looking for, as they write it, which one they think looks the best. So that's a really great idea on how to really positively teach copywork. And we already started this one. This is Foundational Math Skills, 100 Numbers. And this one is, this would be good for even older kids, 4, 5, 6, depending on their level. And we did this together. So she and I did this together. So count to 100 and color every number. So we would take turns doing that, and we would color the pages together. You could listen to an audiobook. You could watch an educational movie while you do the coloring part of it. That can kind of help motivate them to finish the first part. This is a good time to talk about calendars. You could even have their own calendar hanging on the wall that they could mark off each day. There's a little write a story section, and so because she's not writing yet, I jotted down what she told me to write. So I asked her, I had to kind of slow her down some too. She talked really fast. But I wrote down what she said that she wanted to write, and you don't want to correct it. You don't want to, unless it's like ask a question, but you don't want to change what they say. You want to write down exactly what they say, because it's about getting their thoughts to paper in a really positive, encouraging way. And like I said with the other one, if they wanted to write it themselves, you could write it in pencil and they could change the color. So that would be a great way of them doing copywork. This one, write all the odd numbers, and then a coloring page. Color every box with fives or zeros. So they're interacting with the same hundreds chart, but in different ways, and learning to see patterns. And you can color them in colors or anything you want. So we've been doing a little bit of this one. Another one that, this is kind of funny, she loved this book. We got this last year. And before I could start doing it with her, she snagged it and just started coloring all through it and just adored it. So I thought, well, what do I do? She copied some of the numbers backwards because, oh, where is it? Because she saw it on the other page. So she copied it backwards. Or yeah, that one, because she saw it on the other page, so she copied it backwards. And, you know, didn't follow the directions, obviously, with all of them. So what I'm going to do, because this is so beautiful, and I wanted to keep it like a reading book. So what I'm actually going to do with this one, my plan, is to take this book, which I really don't like. I'm sure some people would like it. I just don't. I mean, it's beautiful and colorful and everything. I think it would work probably better with a class than individually. But anyway, but the pictures are so pretty and they're fun. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna tear these out, and we're gonna cut out like the different shapes and then glue them into, instead of draw 10 of your favorite things, we're gonna glue the 10 things in there and turn it into a picture book. So that's my idea, and I might even write some words and tape in some words that we write as well, maybe about the pictures or something like that. But if anybody had a kid that snagged this and enjoyed it so much and then didn't actually follow what it said, that's an idea to save it and then keep using it, because you could keep reading through it and it could kind of be like a little scrapbook that they can enjoy. So there's all of that, and I actually have more for her, but right now we're finishing this one. And we're doing a little of this one, and then probably this next week we'll kind of fix up that one a little bit. And then when we're done with this journal, I'm going to do this, and then the reading program that I have for her. I have a few different ones. Other ones are coloring books. This is great for younger kids, or if they're not quite ready, or if you're not quite ready to do something like this with them, and you just want a coloring book, you can talk about the sounds the letters make, and you could color the letters in their name. You can write for them, just like I talked about in the other book. You could write their thoughts, jot them down, and this could be a beautiful keepsake, and also build a really positive relationship with words. You can build a positive relationship with numbers by counting and writing the number in here with a 4 and younger, with this kind of thing. And then you can also use it, you know, for older kids as well, depending on what your kids like to do. And because it's one-sided, you could jot down what they say about, like this guy, for instance. I mean, he totally looks like he has a story going on. I don't know, does he look shifty or something? Anyway, you could jot down for them what they say this guy might be thinking or what they imagine. Some things that we do with some other books, we'll put faces on things, or we'll add bows, because I have 3 girls, so we like to add bows and tutus to things. And cute bees. Or turning inanimate objects into like that looks like a stick figure person, or we'll turn something upside down and do it. So this is an idea with some of the ones that she has. Now this video is really long so far, but oh, I have it right here. Something that we had gotten as a free printout, and I gave her this binder that she absolutely adores. I don't know, I think it's a zipper. She thinks the zipper is amazing. Never underestimate the power of some of these grown-up feeling books and binders and things that they love. So this one, let's see, this is from the Hobby Time Adventure Journal, and there's sticky notes everywhere because she loved sticking sticky notes all over the place. And this one we do together, so we will draw, like, I think that, what is that, a lollipop and a nunchuck, and we turned it into a person. This book, I think personally, is a little more boyish looking, so I think it would probably, be really good for boys. There are some girls in it, and obviously my girls can enjoy it as well. But we really enjoyed turning the inanimate objects into people, and then talking about what that would be like. We sort of made a tree house kind of funny thing, and some of them I wrote down what we were saying at the time. As you notice, this dragon turned into a purple tutu wearing bow dragon that was singing. And so this is actually probably her favorite book because she loves doing this one. What is that anyway? Oh, it's an ice cream. It's ice cream that we turned into a wizard by flipping it upside down and drawing a wizard. So, I mean, it's just so fun looking at the different sketches. And that's another one. It's a backpack that we turned into a person. Imagination Land. And I think there was, some of these were printouts and some of them were books that her sisters weren't as into, or something like that, and she liked. And then this one, this is actually from the same Hobby Time book, and it's near the back of the book. And I'm trying to find, I know we did some of these, oh, there's one. We did some of those pages. I don't do them in order. I do whichever one she wants to color and whichever one she wants. This one, oh my goodness, she had like, the stories kept going, and I just kept jotting down as fast as I possibly could so she could get all that. And there's another one. We talked about that one, and we wrote about it, or I wrote for her. I jotted it down. And if she didn't have an idea, this was a treehouse I had as a kid. I told her all about when I was a kid, and I built a 3-story treehouse with my brother. Anyway, so like that, that's a good example. If she's just like, oh, I don't know what to do, I can't think of anything, and just kind of out of it, then I might come up with a story, and I might jot down my own words, and that just builds a good relationship with stories and writing and all that. So anyway, I think that basically covers what we're doing. And I have really too many books and getting a lot more than I probably need to, but that way I can tell you all about how to use them. But really, you only need, as I said, one journal. You could do one journal for each child and do 2 or 3 pages a day. But what does that include? That includes reading aloud, which is so important. It includes game time if you use the math pages. As I said, there's so many educational games that are amazing that you can use. Getting books from the library, and even books that are seemingly too old for them, like this. I mean, that's just building a relationship with words and holding the book and looking at the words and feeling it and knowing how the book opens. all of that is building up to loving learning, and I can model that by enjoying it with them, because it is really enjoyable because these are so beautiful. So there you have it. That is my 5-year-old, who will be 6 in a couple months, and are finishing up a few things and kind of our stuff that we use. But again, you don't have to have all the stuff. You can do a few things and really spend only, you know, $20 on their books and enjoy them together. So